So I was just sitting here in my dungeon of video production and I suddenly had a thought. Where is Bioshock 4? I wondered so much that I decided to do a ton of research on it, and now that I have all the facts, I figured I'd share all of them with you. Bioshock is one of, if not my absolute favorite game series out there. The series boasts the absolute best of the gaming industry in terms of creativity, gameplay, story, writing, and every single time these elements combine into a fascinating experience. So it's no wonder that they keep making them, and the term Bioshock spiritual successor is used as a marketing point these days. But before Brandos, you might ask, if they're still making Bioshocks, then where's the new one? Well, that's what I'm here to answer today with hard facts, as well as providing some of my own speculation on what's most likely going to happen / is happening. So let's get started with the main event. Bioshock 4 is happening, and it is in development by a dev team named Cloud Chamber. Cloud Chamber is mostly made up of developers from the previous games, which is a good sign, and they've been publicly developing the project since 2019, where it was quoted that the game would be in development for several years. Over the years, we've gotten a few rumors, a potential title, Bioshock Isolation, as well as, and let me stress this, rumored details of the setting. It's gone around that the game could be set in an Antarctica-based city named Borealis in the 1960s. While the top half of the city would be above the freezing waters and reserved for the rich in this society, the lower class would be forced to live in the lower levels of the city under the waves. So you can see that if you miss the awesome underwater views of Rapture, then you might not be going hungry for the fourth game. Another detail that prominently comes up when talking about this is that the game would be open world.
I know that sounds bad.
Let me remind you that the original Bioshock could be considered semi-open world as well. The game gave you the freedom to enter a section of Rapture and just explore to your heart's content, and if you can do the same in this game, then I can only think that the real change we'll be looking at is that there won't be loading screens between the sections in the world, but this is just speculation, so still, grain of salt. As for some other things to expect, we're still looking at everything you've come to love about Bioshock. Still first person, most likely still weird powers. Some new stuff, however, is that the entire city, or maybe just a few parts of the city, will be populated, since some evidence has come out that Cloud Chamber is looking for people to work on crowd technology for the game. Just some quick speculation on the story real quick too. Back when the Bioshock collection released, you could find an Easter egg in Minerva's Den which pointed you towards a website called there'salwaysalighthouse.com, which displays this image, and it hasn't changed since it was found. For Bioshock fans, you would know that There's Always a Lighthouse is a reference to Elizabeth's statement about alternate universes in Bioshock Infinite. There's always a lighthouse, there's always a man, there's always a city. It's a way of explaining that the story of Bioshock happens a different way in every universe. Man enters a lighthouse which goes to a city where injustices are happening, but what will the man do about it? That's the premise, and it confirms for us that Bioshock will not just be forgetting about Bioshock Infinite, presumably. I don't expect that the game will go full multiverse, but considering that Borealis will be the second alternate of the Rapture story we've seen in the series, something might be different this time. Next up, let's talk delays. This game was announced to be in development years ago, and yet we've got no announcement or anything, and that currently is being chalked up to the rumor that the game is in development hell. There's talk of a high staff turnover rate as well as creative differences, and we've even heard that development on projects has restarted around 4 times now. But I want to take a step back from the rumored drama and put this into perspective. This is normal for a Bioshock game. Every Bioshock ever has been delayed at least once, and Bioshock Infinite was delayed 3 times. Vision takes a hell of a lot of work to channel, and considering that Cloud Chamber's one single project has been this game for years, I don't anticipate they'll be cancelling it. When there's publisher money on the line, problems are going to get solved for better or worse, so I'm expecting that this is just going to be a bump in the road for the game. In fact, I think that this might be a bump in the road that's already passed, because as far as I can see, 2K might be gearing up for an announcement. So back in February last year, it was announced that Netflix is creating a Bioshock movie. Now, knowing Netflix and knowing video game movie adaptations in general, I'm not holding my breath for anything good, but the standout fact in this announcement is that this was the first official movement on the Bioshock IP in years, and only just recently U2's has partnered with 2K to create some Bioshock vinyl and plushie figures. For some perspective, the last time 2K partnered with a merch company, it was back around 2016 when they announced these hideous daubs, and sure enough, a little while after these things were announced, the collection was unveiled too. So what am I saying here? Well, this is all speculation. I might be drinking dummy juice, but I believe 2K is marching towards a huge IP revival in a way that says Bioshock is back. Considering that movies take 2 to 3 years to create, 2K may have partnered with Netflix in anticipation of releasing the movie alongside their new game, leaving us with about a 2024 or 2025 release date. It's been rumored that 2024 is the desired year though, so considering that these Bioshock U2s just came out of nowhere, I'm actually feeling pretty hopeful about Bioshock 4. These collectibles are just a little thing to say, hey, you remember this IP, right? So when can we expect an announcement? Well, this is all still speculation, but if they're aiming for a 2024 release date, they're probably going to want to drop an announcement in the next 6 months. Personally, if I were 2K, I would be dropping a trailer or at least a teaser at the Game Awards this year on December 7th. It's the biggest show they could do it at for the next few months at least, and honestly, they are years into development at this point. I'm very confident in the idea that they probably have something small to show off. So that's all I've got for today. Some facts, some history, and something to expect. Bioshock's years-long silence as an IP has been strange for such a landmark series, but I really do think we're about to get some sort of announcement in the next few months. So tell me what you think. Are you excited for the 4th game? Where do you want it to be set? What general thoughts do you have about Bioshock 4? Please comment. I'm so lonely. Anyway, this has been B4 Brandos. I don't usually do game room videos, and I don't usually do videos where my camera's not on, but I'm too lazy to get dressed up as Jack this time. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on Bioshock 4, where it's heading, when it could be coming out, and just all that jazz. Before you go, I normally do game reviews and long-form retrospective content, except way better than anyone else, obviously. So if you're interested in that, check out my other stuff and subscribe so you can watch my upcoming ridiculously long Evil Within retrospective. Anyway, bye bye.